I am absolutely furious right now. And if you're a wrestling fan who cares about fairness, competition, and giving new stars a chance to shine, you should be too. Roman Reigns, the man who dominated WWE for over 3 years, who held the championship hostage, who crushed the dreams of countless deserving wrestlers, just made his return at the Royal Rumble and completely destroyed everything WWE has been building toward. And here's what's going to make your blood boil. WWE is acting like this is some glorious moment we should all celebrate, instead of the regression into the same old part-timer favoritism that's been killing wrestling for decades. Let me break down every infuriating moment of what happened at the Royal Rumble, because by the time I'm done, you're going to understand why Roman's return is both the best and worst thing that could have happened to WWE right now. And trust me, this situation is way more complicated than the social media hot takes are making it seem. The Royal Rumble match was absolutely incredible up until entry number 30. We had seen incredible performances from new stars, like Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes, and Braun Breaker. We'd witnessed legends like Rey Mysterio and AJ Styles putting on a clinic. The final four came down to Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, Gunther, and CM Punk, and every single one of them had a legitimate claim to winning and main eventing WrestleMania. The crowd was electric, completely invested in whoever was going to win because all four options were fantastic. Then the countdown started for entry number 30. The anticipation in the stadium was palpable because everyone knew this final entry could change everything. The buzzer sounded, and for a moment, there was silence. No music hit immediately, which created this incredible tension. The crowd started murmuring, trying to figure out who it could be. Then, after what felt like an eternity but was probably only 5 seconds, we heard it. The drums. Those unmistakable tribal drums that can only mean one thing. The entire stadium erupted, and I mean that in both the positive and negative sense. Half the crowd was losing their minds with excitement, jumping up and down, screaming at the top of their lungs. The other half immediately started booing, understanding exactly what this meant for the Rumble and for WrestleMania season. The division was instant and absolute. Here's my first question for you, and I need honest answers in the comments. When you heard Roman's music hit at number 30, was your immediate reaction excitement or frustration? Because the wrestling world is completely divided on whether this return is brilliant or terrible, and I want to know where this community stands. Roman Reigns walked out onto that stage, and the aura was undeniable. He looked different than when we last saw him months ago. He was leaner, more focused, and he had this intensity in his eyes that suggested his time away hadn't softened him at all. He was wearing special Royal Rumble gear that incorporated his tribal chief imagery, and he moved down that ramp like a man on a mission, completely ignoring both the cheers and the boos raining down on him. When Roman entered the ring, the dynamic immediately shifted. Cody, Drew, Gunther, and Punk all stopped fighting each other and turned to face the returning tribal chief. The visual of 4 of WWE's top stars all recognizing Roman as the immediate threat was powerful storytelling, but it also reinforced the exact problem with part-timers showing up and overshadowing full-time talent. Roman didn't waste any time. He immediately went after Cody Rhodes, which makes perfect sense given their history. The two of them have unfinished business from their championship feud, and you could feel the intensity of their exchanges. They were throwing heavy strikes, neither man backing down, fighting with a personal vendetta that elevated everything around them. But here's where things got controversial. Within about 90 seconds of Roman entering, he managed to eliminate both Gunther and CM Punk in quick succession. 2 of the most protected, most dominant wrestlers on the roster eliminated like they were nothing by a guy who hasn't been around for months. The crowd's boos got noticeably louder because people could see where this was heading. Comment below and tell me, do you think it was disrespectful to have Roman eliminate Gunther and Punk that quickly? Or is it just smart booking to establish how dangerous Roman is immediately upon return? I'm genuinely conflicted because I understand both perspectives. We were down to the final 3. Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and Drew McIntyre. 3 of the biggest names in WWE, all with legitimate claims to main event WrestleMania, all with different storylines that would be compelling. For about 5 minutes, we got an absolute war between these 3 titans. The near eliminations were insane, with each man coming within inches of going over the top rope multiple times. Drew hit Roman with a devastating claymore that nearly sent him over the top rope, but it didn't count as an elimination. Cody hit Drew with a beautiful disaster kick that had him teetering on the apron. Roman caught Cody with a Superman punch that left him dazed against the ropes. The action was non-stop, and the crowd was completely invested despite their mixed feelings about Roman's presence. Then came the most controversial moment of the entire night. As Drew was setting up to eliminate Cody, the lights went out. Complete darkness in the stadium. When the lights came back on, Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa were at ringside. The Bloodline had arrived to help their tribal chief, completely violating the spirit of the Royal Rumble match, even if they weren't technically breaking any rules by being at ringside. Their presence distracted Drew long enough for Roman to recover and attack from behind. Roman and Drew started brawling near the ropes, both trying to eliminate each other, when Cody saw an opportunity. In a moment that will be replayed forever, Cody charged at both of them and used their own momentum to send both Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns tumbling over the top rope at the exact same time. The referees immediately started arguing. Some said Drew's feet hit first, others said Roman's feet hit first. The crowd was going absolutely insane with confusion and anticipation. After about 30 seconds of deliberation and multiple replay reviews on the big screen, the senior official made a call that shocked everyone. He restarted the match between just Roman and Drew, ruling that both had been eliminated simultaneously, and Cody's elimination of both of them meant he couldn't be the winner. Let me ask you this, because I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Have you ever seen a Royal Rumble ruling this controversial? Drop examples in the comments if you can think of anything comparable, because this decision created absolute chaos. Cody Rhodes was understandably furious. He was arguing with the referees, with the officials, even with Nick Aldis, who had come out to try to maintain order. Meanwhile, Roman and Drew were back in the ring, and the Bloodline was still at ringside, creating an unfair advantage. The whole situation was descending into madness. The match between Roman and Drew lasted another 3 minutes and was absolutely brutal. Both men were exhausted from already being in the Rumble for extended periods, but they were fighting with everything they had left. Drew hit another Claymore, but Roman fell out of the ring under the bottom rope instead of over the top, so it didn't count as an elimination. Roman recovered on the outside, and with an assist from Solo Sikoa, who tripped Drew while the referee was distracted, managed to drag Drew under the bottom rope to the outside. The two fought around ringside, and this is where the Bloodline's numbers advantage became decisive. While Roman brawled with Drew, the other members kept Cody from interfering and created enough chaos that the referee couldn't keep track of everything happening. Finally, Roman got Drew in position near the steel steps, hit a devastating spear that sent Drew crashing into the steps, and then, with help from his cousins, threw Drew back into the ring. Roman followed, picked up the barely conscious Drew and dumped him over the top rope for the elimination and the Royal Rumble victory. The crowd reaction was deafening, but not in a good way. The boos were overwhelming, drowning out the music and celebration. People were throwing garbage into the ring, a classic sign of fan disapproval. Roman stood in the center of the ring with the Bloodline, all of them making the ones-up gesture, completely unbothered by the negative reaction. Roman grabbed a microphone and delivered what might be the most arrogant promo of his career. I told all of you, you can't have WrestleMania without the tribal chief. You can't have the biggest show of the year without the biggest star in this industry. I've been gone, I've been away, but I never stopped being the head of the table. And now I'm going back to WrestleMania to do what I do best, acknowledge greatness and remind everyone why I'm the greatest of all time. What's your honest reaction to Roman's promo? Brilliant heel work or genuinely disrespectful to the full-time talent? Comment below, because this is the question that's dividing the wrestling community right now. The aftermath of the Rumble has been absolute chaos. Social media exploded with divided opinions. WWE's official channels are celebrating Roman's return and promoting his road to WrestleMania. But independent wrestling accounts and many fans are criticizing WWE for once again prioritizing a part-timer over the full-time talent who carry the company week in and week out. Several WWE wrestlers have subtly expressed their frustration on social media. While nobody has directly criticized Roman or WWE management, there have been cryptic tweets and posts that suggest locker room morale took a hit. When you're someone like Gunther, who's been dominant for a year, only to get eliminated in 90 seconds by a returning part-timer, that has to sting regardless of how professional you are. The most fascinating aspect of this situation is the complexity of Roman's booking going forward. He won the Rumble, which means he gets a World Championship match at WrestleMania. But which championship does he challenge for? Does he go after Cody Rhodes in the undisputed WWE Championship, continuing their rivalry? Does he challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship and face whoever's holding that title? The options create interesting storytelling possibilities, but also complicate the WrestleMania card. Here's a trivia question for the longtime fans. How many times has Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble in his career? Drop your answer in the comments, because Roman's history with this match and his overall WrestleMania record is legendary, which is both impressive and part of why some fans are frustrated with his continued dominance. The business side of this return is undeniably significant. Roman Reigns is WWE's biggest star, their most mainstream, recognizable active wrestler, and his presence automatically increases interest in WrestleMania. TV ratings will likely spike, ticket sales will get a boost, and WWE sponsors will be happy to have their top draw back in the spotlight. From a pure